Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into March 10th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market is still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol RGTI. I did this analysis in yesterday's top 10 video. Talked about this bull flag pattern here, and you can see, so there's a bull flag, but this morning, opening 30 minutes, came up there, got the break up through there, and a fantastic move before pulling back, but then resuming back upwards. So overall, very, very nice technical pattern breakout. Congratulations to anybody that watched that video and played that bull flag pattern. But now we basically have a case of deja vu. We have, yet again, another bullish pattern. Now, in this situation, I am not going to use the trend line to draw the upper part of the pattern. What I am going to just use is that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes the very famous 200 period moving average, and let just serve as our trend line, because as next week plays out, that line will continue to look something like that, and essentially, like I said, serve as our trend line. So that would be the top part of the pattern to keep an eye on. And then bottom part of the pattern, we have this area of support right here. So let me change that to green for support. And then let me keep this all one color so we can make it easier to see. So there is our resistance. There is our support. And then you can see we have this wedge formation that is forming. And of course, this wedge formation, maybe you've already noticed, but is running out of space. So that's where the question comes into play. Who is ultimately going to win out of this battle? Do the bears win out with a break to the downside of the wedge, or do the bulls win with a break to the upside? That's going to be, at least in my opinion, the big question mark going into next week. But all in all, anyway, look at it. Great movement today. Now you have this wedge formation, and now it's just a question of who is going to win the battle. Next one here, BTOG, and have yourselves a very nice pattern here. So we just talked about a bull flag on RGTI, and that is what we have going on here. So let's get this into play. So there's our area of resistance, and then there is our area of support. So yes, to be fair, as of right now, there has been a pullback that's occurred. You can't deny that. But assuming you care about the bigger picture, part of that is going to say, okay, yeah, it has pulled back, but what was going on before this pullback? And those people would be like, well, the price was here, and then it went all the way up there. So when you map out then the pullback channel right here, what you now have is a bull flag pattern. Now, just because something is bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to make a move upwards, but is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if this thing comes back up and gets a break outside of that pattern, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario and a plausible thought process. So if you like penny stocks, if you like bull flag patterns, here you go. Next one here, GV, and kind of a case of deja vu because it's not exact, but in some senses, had the big move gap up yesterday and then a pretty nasty pullback. Once again, had a big gap up and then a pretty nasty pullback. But within this overall context, these lows do keep getting higher and higher. So you can see the bases here compared with the base there, compared with the base there, compared with the base down there. And if you envision each one of those as stair steps, well, from the big picture, stair steps are still clearly progressing in the upwards direction. Now, I do understand that if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 seconds, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart looks absolutely terrible for you. But assuming you do care about the bigger picture of things, even with the bigger pullback, price still has plenty of opportunity, as you can see here, to build that higher base. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level and actually just extend this line out because this trend line is continuing to hold. And really, in my opinion, at least, as long as the price stays above that trend line, that implies higher lows are being put into place, and that's the name of the game. But even if that trend line were not able to hold, then I would still say keep an eye on that purple line there, 50 period moving average. As the name implies, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So, if you just want to envision that as a trend line that's drawing itself for you, that would also work. In terms of levels of resistance, it seems as though the new kind of key battleground for where the sellers are hanging out right up here around the $8.40 mark. So keep an eye on that. But at this point with the pullback here, I think the highest priority is not necessarily breaking levels of resistance, but just ensuring that it once again builds a higher base, which it's been doing the past few days. Next one here is BBAI. And in fact, for this one, I'm going to just go to the daily time frame. And that just means that each one of these candlesticks is what you would traditionally see. Each one just represents an entire day. And as far as this monster breakout was concerned, so there is this move right here. The price was right here, and then it broke that trend line, and then boomed. That has officially been wiped away, and that was just basically, a faulty move. There is no genuine strength behind it, and I say that because price movements with genuine strength don't give back all their gains plus some, because now you look at where it was here, and you correspond that over here, and it's actually even lower than where it was when it broke the trend line right there. So that's not to say that another nice move can occur, but just as far as that big breakout was concerned and all the excitement, yeah, that has all been wiped away. That was just, now from a trading standpoint, of course, beautiful opportunity at profit. But if you were thinking that that was going to be some sort of massive move much higher, well, no, all those gains have completely been given up. So that's the broader context. Dropping back down to the 30-minute, really, it's still just a question of, I've talked about this in the past, but just needing to continue to watch that purple line there. I would be very skeptical of any sort of upwards move. I would not believe it as long as the price is down below that purple line, because there have been many upwards moves over the past several weeks, and they've all occurred below that level and all have eventually failed and rolled back over. That's not to say that another nice move up is for sure going to roll back over. I would just say I would be skeptical of it, because the track record right now is, as long as the price, like I said, nice move up, back down, nice move up, back down, nice move up, back down. You get the idea. That's the track record right now. So any sort of upwards moves, to be fair, maybe it is the start of something truly strong, but I'd also just be very skeptical for how this one has behaved over the past few weeks. Next one here, we have NVDA, and like what we were just talking about, that purple line, same is true here on NVDA. That purple line has just been very, very stubborn, but I am now going to use that. Let me get rid of these annotations, because I think, and what I'm seeing here, and we'll see what happens, but one of my favorite patterns, so let's get this drawn into play. So we have our area of support. And then using this trend line here as our, using this moving average here as our trend line, we essentially have a falling wedge pattern. Now, if you didn't want to use the moving average, then you could take something like that. And falling wedge is a bullish pattern, but as I mentioned already, just because something's bullish doesn't mean it will for sure move up. But when you have these sorts of patterns on very well-known stocks, very watched stocks like NVIDIA, still doesn't guarantee anything, but it does make it and bring some credibility to the table that, yeah, maybe, just maybe, if this thing can push up through the moving average, through the top part of the pattern, that could very well, could it create upside buying pressure and momentum, just simply because, oh, look, that's a breakout. Oh, I'm a breakout trader. Oh, I'm a breakout trader. That's breaking out. I'm supposed to buy the breakout. And then all of a sudden it breaks out even more, right? Self-fulfilling prophecies, not guaranteed to happen, but I think it's, within the realm of reason. So we'll keep an eye on this falling wedge next week for NVIDIA. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then like I said, definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, taking a look at PLTR, and just really talking about this one because it remains a very popular stock out there. A lot of people talking about it. But from a technical standpoint, not a whole lot can be said. Now, I will say today, again, to give credit's due, and this will mean more to those of you that have watched past videos, but we've been talking about the sideways channel. In the bottom of this channel right here at about 79.25 is a level that you'd want to see hold as support. And like I said, credit's due. Beautiful job of coming down there, and then a great bounce off the bottom of that channel. So for any of you that maybe watched previous videos and took that bounce off the channel, I mean, you got paid very nicely. But taking a step back and looking at it from the broad scope of things, yeah, nothing really new to report. The price just continues to chop back and forth within this channel. So the top of the channel up here, resistance at $90.50. Bottom of the channel, support down there at $79.25. So it just remains a question of who is ultimately going to win this battle with either a breakout or a breakdown. Next one, we have SUNE, and I like this pattern quite a bit. And as I draw this, please don't think that I'm trying to impress you or imply this is a great discovery, special talent. The exact opposite. I think a lot of people have drawn that trend line, which just brings about the whole idea of when a lot of people are watching the same trend lines and wondering the same thing. Call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very nice movement. So got to think a lot of people are watching that level. And then from a support standpoint, nothing fancy here. Just where did this pullback finally stop? And you can see a couple times right there at 35.5 cents. The price found buyers both there and there. And now really going forward, it's just a question of can the price break up through that level here? No guarantees, but valid to think that if the price can push up through there, that could create additional buying pressure and potentially try to, send it back up there to those previous highs right there. But all in all, no doubt about it, have a nice little wedge formation. Not just a question of can the wedge get a break back to the upside? We'll see what happens. Next one, PSTV. Again, one of these that's tricky to talk about because it's all about perspective. If you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought up there, then yes, from that standpoint, not looking so good. But if you care about the bigger picture, even with the bigger pullback here, you look at the lows here and you compare it with the previous lows, then you envision those as stair steps like I did earlier. You still do have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So is this a good or bad looking chart? Like I said, it's truly just about your perspective and your strategy going in. But moving forward, I would definitely say this is an area that you would now want to see hold for that reason I just talked about. You want to see this thing build higher bases, and that $1.30 mark right now is essentially representing that higher base. And then in terms of areas of resistance, did it break through that level? It's doing battle right now with this area right here. So it actually got to break up through there and then smack back down. But yeah, let's see if the price can push up through that trend line. If it can, especially if it's a higher volume break, the next potential area to keep an eye on, whoops, make it look a little different. There we go. Would be right up here around that high, which sits at about $1.91. So like I said, depending on your point of view, this is either a really bad looking chart or it's a very interesting chart. Is this thing, like I said, trying to break out? So we'll see if the breakout can happen and get it up to $1.91. Next one here, LUNR, brutal day here. Did get a bit of a bounce, so to get credit where credit's due from where it was at its lows to then where it recovered right to here. Nice movement, but is there any genuine power behind this price movement? I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. And in my mind, it all revolves around a single area, and that area is down here at the $8 mark. Why is $8 important? And I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down here and then break down below there, what would you have at that point? You would have the price having gone right back to where it started. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make nice bounces and then go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. But nothing can go straight up, so maybe the price comes down here, behaves like this, and then curls back upwards. Now, all of a sudden, what do you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows right here. You'd have a set of lows right there. And if you envision each one of those stair steps, now you have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. And that's the name of the game. That's what a truly strong move is going to do. It's going to make progress. And in this situation, quote unquote, progress again, being defined as $8. In terms of areas of resistance, so if this thing's going to try to battle back up, first key level to watch would right be there at $9.50. And then next key level after that, right up around $10.25. So yes, nice bounce today. Is there genuine power behind it? Let's see if it can make some progress. Next one here, we're looking at TSLA Tesla. And yeah, you have these lines. They still do pertain, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of them because I see something that, was it? I think it was NVDA. Same thing as NVDA. I think we have the falling wedge. And you can either use that purple line there as the upper part of the pattern, or if you want to use a trend line such as this, still illustrating the same general idea. Yeah, that's putting in new lows, but not quite as violent as previous ones. You have a bit of a bounce up. So yes, going into next week, and once again, the same general lines of thought of Tesla, very popular stock. A lot of people watching it. So the more people watching a pattern, the more potential of those self-fulfilling prophecies. So if the price can get up through this area, now it's a little bit tricky because, yeah, even if the price breaks that trend line right there, I wouldn't want to get too excited about it because not that far away is the purple line. So maybe it would be better to just use that purple line there. I'll leave that up to you. But point here being, general idea here is that there's the downtrend, but if it can push up through this general area, does that create even more buying pressure? Do some shorts have to cover? We'll see what happens with it. But maybe, just maybe, Tesla gets some sort of falling wedge breakout next week. Grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, like I said, if you enjoyed what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Like I mentioned, it'll be down below in the description area if you want to get signed up. But it will be next week, Thursday, March 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, as always, please hit that like button. And if you're looking for a super free and easy way to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help out. So thanks for watching. Take care and have a great weekend.